Hi everyone! So this video is going to be hopefully the first video in a series of videos about working on cruise ships. So when I was on my cruise ship exactly a year ago now, I actually used this YouTube channel as a way to vlog my friends at home and to keep in contact with them. Obviously it was open to public, but it wasn't intended to be open to public. But quite a lot of people started following me, and I got quite a lot of questions of people saying, oh right, so how do you work on a cruise ship? How do you go about doing that? I want to be a singer, how did you get the job? So I thought, well, clearly people want to know about this, so I'm going to talk about that today. So the first video I'm going to do today is essentially talking about how you can go about getting a job on a cruise ship as a singer. I'm only talking from my own experience, I'm no expert, and obviously there's lots of different cruise lines and lots of different cruise lines work very differently. However, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about my experience and what I've learned through my process of applying for jobs and things like that. So I've worked on cruise ships now for over 7 years, and I've worked for a number of different production companies. From my own experience, I can tell you that there are a number of different ways that you can get employed as a singer. So I'm going to talk you through a few of those today. So there are 3 main ways that you can apply to become a singer on a cruise ship. And the 3 ways are, number 1, an audition, a live audition. Now that kind of seems a little bit obvious, but most cruise lines will try to audition at least twice in the year. They will usually do an audition tour where they go around to different cities. So the best thing to do, if that's something that you would like to do, attend a live audition, is to go on the cruise liner's website and have a little look when their audition tours are, because it depends on where you are. They're usually trying to hit the main cities, London, New York, they tend to go to Australia and Sydney. So have a little look yourself. I'm from the UK, so all I can do is talk about my UK experience. And there is The Stage, which is a newspaper and website. Most major cruise lines will pop in there when they're coming. However, you can also follow them on Facebook, and most of them will announce when they're going to audition. So then you go to your live audition and you audition. The second way to apply for a job is to send in straight to the company a show reel. Now, I have, throughout my own experience, I have been hired on a show reel before. So please don't think that just because you send them in that they don't get watched, or that it's impossible to get hired from a show reel. I'm talking from experience, I've been hired from a show reel. It can happen, okay? So what is a show reel? A show reel is essentially a combination of clips of you performing. And this will mainly be, hopefully, stage clips if you've got them. If you haven't got them, they can be performances maybe you've done at college, or even just live recordings to the camera. However, from my own experience, I think it's good to have a good array of different types of songs, and basically just to show your versatility. So that's a whole separate video in itself, how to produce a good show reel, which hopefully I will try and touch at one point if that's something that anyone's interested in. But yes, show reel. And how do you do that? Go onto the website, find out the details of the company. Most big cruise liners will have the details on their website of where to send your show reels to. So have a little look online and send them in. Also, please don't be put off sending your show reel in if you have auditioned for a company before and they cut you. Because I know I have friends that have done this, gone to auditions, been cut, sent in their show reel and got the job. So they see so many people at auditions. Sometimes auditions can be a bit of a whirlwind. But if you've got a really, really good show reel, sometimes that can give you the edge over other performers. And also, it shows that you've worked before if you've got footage of you performing and other stuff, which is always a bonus for cruise liners. Okay, and the third way to send in your stuff and to apply is to do a self-tape. Now, more and more cruise liners are asking for this, and the reason being is because they're quite exposing and they're quite raw, okay? So literally it would be just like it is now, just me to the camera having a sing song. Self-taping, the cruise liner will usually tell you exactly what songs they want to hear. So my advice would be to record a good self-tape is to take your time. Don't rush into doing it straight away, because they will give you a song. I don't want you to go, oh yes, I know that song, and then quickly record it. Spend a week listening to that song, perfecting it, and then when you get on camera and decide to do it, just try to sing it as comfortably and as normally as you would, and almost imagine that this is actually an audition scenario, because that's what they want to see. They don't want to see loads of edits, any fancy sort of camera effects. They don't want any of that. They just want to see a raw live audition without you actually being there in person. So self-tape is the next best way that you can do that. So that's kind of essentially the 3 major ways that you can apply to become a singer on a cruise ship. When it comes to live auditions, most cruise liners will usually do an open call and a closed call. Now what that means is an open call is that anyone can go, anyone can turn up and sing their songs, and it's basically an open call. There also is that private call or closed call, and what that means is if you have an agent, you can apply through your agent to then get an audition. If you have an agent, I would always advise you do it this way, because closed calls are a little bit more organized usually. Sometimes you get a bit more time with the panel because they're not seeing as many people in that day. And also the fact that you've got an agent kind of proves already that someone believes in you. So that kind of gives you a little bit more of a boost as well. However, if you haven't got an agent, don't be put off by being a bit cheeky and emailing the company and seeing if you can get in. I have before been to closed calls without an agent. I just emailed the company, sent my stuff in and said, hi, I see you're doing closed calls. Can't make the opens, any chance I can come along? And it's worked for me on quite a few different occasions. And it's so much better to go to a closed call just because it's a bit more relaxed. Open calls can be a little bit intimidating and a lot of waiting and a lot of nerves. So if you can get that private call, totally go for it. However, there's pros and cons from going through an agent. If you go through an agent, they are usually going to take a cut from your money, averaging sort of 10%, I believe. So obviously if you're getting paid, I don't know, £500 a week or something, they're going to take 10% of that throughout your whole contract. And usually then if you were to get another contract with that company, they would still carry on taking that 10%. So there's pros and cons to both. So you need to weigh it out as a performer and decide what you think the best thing is to do. That's kind of it, I think. Obviously there's so much more that kind of goes into this, and I think I'm going to do another video pretty soon talking about live auditions for cruise ships, what's good to sing, what's not good to sing, and kind of the best way you can go about being noticed. Obviously, again, I'm no expert. I'm not saying I've walked every audition that I've been into, but I have had a lot of experience myself going to different auditions, having friends go to different auditions, and obviously getting jobs myself. So I have a rough idea, and especially with cruise liners, I kind of know what they're looking for. So if that's something that would interest you, let me know, and I intend to do a video on that. Please subscribe if you would like to keep updated with these videos, because I hope to do a few more and pass my knowledge on now that I am back on land. So I'm going to hopefully make a few more of these. So like, subscribe, and I will do another one of these very soon. Speak to you all again very soon. Bye!